So we're going to start. Today's session is about return on investment and how that is connected to your front end and back end products. Okay, that's return on investment connected to your front end and back end products and how this plays a part in scaling your business. Okay, now if you look at, for example, I'm going to give examples on other companies as well as us, so you can see for yourself how it works for you. Raise your hand if you know why Amazon started Amazon Prime in the first place. Can anyone see through the strategic way of doing this? Anyone can see that? Raise your hand. Okay, I'll share that. Amazon Prime is actually a front-end product for Amazon, so they could sell more of their back-end products. Okay, so front-end and back-end products, how they work is it needs to be a ladder. Okay, your first product could be free. Okay, your second product could be a £5, £10, £20 product. Okay, your third product could be a 50, £100 product. Your so on and so forth. So you in the ladder, you start from zero, and then you keep increasing that to a point where your back-end product could be worth 100,000, 200,000, a million, 200 million. It doesn't really matter. Okay, if you look at, for example, if you look at Amazon, they give you this Prime for like £10 or £8, whatever that is, and then at the back of that, they know that they can deliver faster, and then they sell a lot more products, because once someone is paid for Prime, they're more likely to buy more products at the back end. Okay, if you look at, for example, Disney, you watch Disney movies, for example, your kids watch Disney movies. Disney movies, in many cases, don't make any money. They are like the front-end products for Disney, so they could sell their merchandise. So they make money, more money from merchandise than they would ever make from their movies. Imagine having a front-end product, which the company spends like 200 million or 300 million to create. So they could sell their back-end products, could be worth 20, 30 pounds each, but they sell volume. Okay, but that's a very good strategy. They make more movies. The more movies they make, the most merchandise they sell at the back of that. And it is a game you need to understand how you can apply in your business. I'm going to share with this on our business as well. For example, when you look at PEN, our referral program is free to join. I've got just in our WhatsApp group, I've got 103 or 4 people or 5 people. And then in Telegram group of the referral, there's about 20 people. So it's about 125 people in our referral program at any given time now. About 10–15% of them are active, which means they refer business from their contact list. I tell them to just dig into their contact list and refer business to us. So we get more business. We all make more money. We make more money. They make more money when we close deals. But that's our front-end product, which is free to join. Okay, and every now and then I'd bring them in, give them some free training, but not a lot, but give them a little bit. Okay, then we have the second ladder in the product, which is our inner circle. The third one in the ladder is our mentoring. The fourth one now in the ladder, the fourth one is our representatives. The fifth one now that we have created is called PEN Club, where people can come and invest in our projects, get free training and mentoring when they invest a certain amount of money, and then it flows. So now you can see so within PEN, 5 layers. Okay, but they have to be strategically done. So for you to be able to, first of all, when someone is joining, it makes sense to them to join at a certain point. They can see themselves at a certain stage when they join. Second, you increase the conversion rate, which means when someone calls and let's say they don't have any money, they can just join your free stage level where they just refer business to you. Okay, or vice versa. They could buy a book. For example, when you look at consultants, books are like a second level product for them in the value ladder. Okay, remember, it's all value game, and the value has to be laddered in a way where people could join at certain stages. Okay, and the more effective your ladder is, the easier it becomes to scale your business. The front-end products are the first step of the ladder or the second step of the ladder, and then you have the back-end products, which could be your investments, which could be your mentoring, and so on and so forth. Okay, but how does this correlate to return on investment? Okay, I'll give you an example. So let's say you run paid ads to attract investors or people towards yourself. Okay. And let's say it's going to cost you £200, £300. Sometimes it can cost you up to £400 or £500 for a single lead to be converted. Remember, not just because you've attracted a lead doesn't mean you're going to convert every lead. In fact, my conversion is probably, now that I have become much better at this, with a lot of humility, my conversion is more like 2, 3 out of 10 people that I speak with. So every, let's say 10 people that I speak with, 3 out of them would join somewhere in the ladder. Okay. But for me to attract those 10 people, we use network marketing as the business model. Sorry. Hi, Saida. Have you just joined?
Yes.
Okay, so you do have to watch what we've shared so far. Okay, so watch it later when I share the recording. Okay. But
okay.
We use network marketing as the base model to attract leads. Okay. You guys all know WhatsApps and Telegrams, everything. We use network marketing. But let's say if you don't use network marketing, let's say you use paid ads to attract people, and let's say it's going to cost you £200 lead, which is average, just so you know, for one person to attract. It all depends. Your lead attraction cost could be as low as like £1, and it can be as high as £500, depending on how prolific you are in the industry. Okay, so for example, if I was to run an ad, it'll probably cost me maybe £50, £60 because of how well known I am in the industry now that I've put all the effort in. But for those who are not well known, it could cost you like £200, £300, £400, even £500. And those who are more well known than for example, me, not necessarily comparing, just comparing for the sake of context, it could even cost you as low as like £1. Okay, so let's say if it costs you £200 to attract a lead, and let's say it's going to cost you £2,000 to attract 10 leads. If now let's say you convert 2 leads out of that, you want to make sure that those 2 leads pay off for the £2,000 that you've invested on the paid ads, plus all your operational cost, which means your salaries and everything else. And then you have to make sure that you make a profit.
Exactly.
Okay, so your return on investment is very much intertwined with your front end and back end products. And unless you don't get this working effectively, you will just not be able to scale. I'll give you another example just on PEN. For me to be able to, or for us to be able to bring someone to a point where they invest with us, they have to know us, they have to know, like, and trust, and then transact. Bringing them to a point where they invest takes a lot of effort. Okay, and not just the effort of my team, a lot of effort from my end. So just the journey and the operational cost is quite high. And now imagine my aim, for example, is, or our company aim, imagine, is to raise 100 million and then be able to take that money and invest into either hotels or developments. Imagine the amount of money I need to be able to invest into operational stuff, which is our salaries, my personal time, and as well as any paid ads that we run. Okay, so I have to make sure that when those people, those leads are converted, either on inner circle or referral or mentoring or consulting, or for that matter, any of those range, including the PEN club, when they start to invest with us, I have to make sure that we are in profit after all the effort and the operational cost that's been invested. Okay. Amazon, for the longest period of time, was working on like 2% profit margin. Imagine a company that's turning over literally in trillions is only making 2% return on money invested. Raise your hand if you can see through why Amazon was able to scale, because if let's say it was costing them £10 or £20 per person to acquire, and they're only working on 2%, they only needed to make 20 pence on every lead that they were generating. Raise your hand if you can see through why they scaled so fast.
No.
Okay, for the longest period of time, Amazon was literally working on 2.2, 2.4. not really touching 3% profit margins on their turnover. Okay, that's why they were able to scale so fast. Okay, and a very, very clear and a good back-end front-end strategy allowing them to scale. In fact, they actually have a very sort of not necessarily the most ethical strategy, which is if let's say they have a wholesaler selling something on their website, and when they reach a certain amount of turnover, they actually remove them from the portal altogether, from Amazon portal altogether, and they start bringing those products within their Amazon marketplace. They call it, they sell themselves. They start selling those products themselves, allowing them much higher profits. So they actually, so it's kind of unethical, but there's not a lot you can do. I actually know people personally who have been removed from Amazon, banned from Amazon altogether, just because they reached a certain amount of turnover. Okay, but can you see the clear strategy? Even in PEN, for starting from PEN referral program, the inner circle, the consulting, the mentoring, the reps, and then the PEN club. Okay, it allows us to scale and be able to create a systematic way where people can get to know us, like us, trust us, know, like, and trust, and then get to a point where they are happy to invest with us. You got to have this very, very clearly in your business. If you are just selling 1 or 2 products, you're just not going to be able to scale. You're just going to struggle with this. I have struggled previously in my life. It just doesn't work. Okay, if you have traffic coming to your website, you need to find ways to monetize it. If you can see within what we do, we even took over the London marketplace and a couple of other groups which have actually allowed us to monetize online what we do as well. I used those groups to leverage our inner circle as well. Okay, which has helped us attract, you know, the more serious developers and so on, and the more serious agents. Okay, raise your hand if you're clear about what I just shared and how your return on investment is intertwined into your front end and back end products. And if you just sell 1 product or 1 service, can you now see why you are struggling already? You're just not going to be able to scale. And another thing within that is that it doesn't really matter which product ladder you start with. Normally, it's better to start from the bottom layer, which is your free product, and then create a paid one and so on and so forth. But it doesn't actually matter where you create and what you create, as long as the ladder actually works effectively when you are explaining this to someone. So, well, let's say if someone calls you up and says, you know what I see is great, you are great, I want to work with you, share what you do and how I can get involved. You should have a very clear, systematic way to allow people to choose themselves where they would see themselves in the picture with you. Okay, so one thing I always share with people is sales is, you know, people have this wrong perception about selling. Sales is winning on both ends, where the other person can see themselves winning in the picture clearly. Okay, you don't need to sell. When you just present where the synergy is, let them choose where they see themselves in the picture. Okay, in most cases, when I explain the whole value ladder to people, they just tell me themselves, oh, I see myself in inner circle, I see myself as a representative, or I see myself as as investing or whatever. In many cases, not in all cases or most cases, but in many cases, people tend to tell me themselves rather than me telling them in many cases. Okay, it all depends on sometimes the conversation context and whatever, but in most cases, people tell me themselves. Okay, now can you see how the return on investment is connected to all of this? When I started PEN, I was not expecting to make any money for the first 2 years, like zero expectation. And in fact, for the first year, we didn't make much money anyway. But after the first year, we started making money and we were profitable in the second year. But at the same time, I was not expecting. Most people start a business thinking that they're going to start making money immediately. It doesn't quite work like that, especially when you set yourself up to scale faster and bigger beyond yourself. You can't set yourself up in a way where you only make a little bit of money and can't scale. If you want to go beyond yourself, You have to have this value ladder. You have to work with low profit margins to start with, and then make sure that at some point you start to increase your profit margins and then be able to charge more and increase your return on investment. And return on investment is not just money invested return, it's your effort and time and everything else and your knowledge. But that's how you gotta set yourself up. Raise your hand if you have any questions on what I just shared so far. You can actually see this front and back end strategy with everyone. Google Chrome, for example, the search engine, free to search. Do you think it's free? Raise your hand if you think Google Chrome search is free. It's not.
No.
It's not free. Okay. Every time you search, they suggest you someone to buy products from, and Google gets a commission on that. Okay. And in some cases they charge for paid ads, but in many cases they charge a commission. So Google search is not free. Using Facebook, do you think it's free? It's not. They show you ads and they make money out of that. Okay. Any platform that you look at, any platform that you think is free, it's not free. Okay. Either you're looking at ads or you are actually paying for products which you choose from that search engine. Remember, Amazon is a search engine, Facebook is a search engine, Google is a search engine, and so is now PEN to some extent. When you go and search PEN and when you find a property, likelihood is that I'm probably getting a kickback on that if you take the property. Okay. If you, let's say, search for a certain service, there are some chances that I might be getting paid at the back of that. Okay. It's like a search engine where it's free to use at the front end, but at the back end of it, I am making some money, or we are as a company making some money. It's not working as effectively as I'd like, but in the long term, in the next 5 to 10 years, it's going to become very, very effective, where I would be able to, or we as a company would be able to make money on many aspects of the websites that you will use. Okay. Raise your hand if you can see through now as the front end and the back end product. One of the main front end products we launched is the website itself, PEN, where you can go get registered, search for people, socialize with people, connect with investors, and so on and so forth. Raise your hand if you can see through, please. Fantastic. I'm actually going to go to everyone and ask questions. Saida, do you have any questions? I know you didn't listen to the whole thing, but do you have any questions?
No, not at the moment. No.
You may need to watch the whole thing, please.
Yes.
Kalpana, do you have any questions?
None for me, Jack. I think we touched on this before, right?
But I have not touched it the way I have now. Okay. Because I wanted to make sure the correlation between ROI and the front end back end is clear, because most people don't understand this. Okay. It's very important.
No, it's great. Thank you very much. No,
thank you.
There's a lot of information to take in.
Yes, and it requires a very good focus to set this up. You can't set this up in a week, a month. It takes at least 6 to 12 months to have a very good value ladder. And remember, consulting is very, very important in the middle of this. Okay. Remember, consulting has major benefits. First, you're using your knowledge to be able to attract people, allowing them or bringing them to a point where they are scaling their business. And then now you have a collaboration in place. Remember, you want to look at your business 20 years down the line and say, when I collaborate with this person based on my knowledge, where is this person going to be in 5, 10, 15, 20 years time? And how does that collaboration will play a part in 15 years or 20 years down the line? Imagine, let's say one of the members here, let's say, is with us 15 years down the line, and they're now speaking with a C-level executive of Citigroup. Okay. And now that member wants to build a hotel. Okay. He's made his money. He's got 10 million sitting in his account. He wants to build a hotel, or want to own a hotel that has great cash flow. That person recommends them to me. And now we have a 10 million pound deal or 15 million pound deal. Can you see a long-term sustainable future of how we have set up things?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That's how you got to use your knowledge or your consulting in the value ladder to create collaborations allowing you to get to a point where you'll be able to do larger deals. Okay, now a good example for you is, like I said, a member who joined yesterday works for Google. Could that potential person be doing a deal with yourself 5 or 10 years down the line? Maybe a 10 million pound deal. Yes, no, not just with us. Remember, you are in the group, so you can do that deal too, as long as you create that know, like, and trust relationship. Okay. Okay. So you gotta use this group as one of the stepping stones to be able to scale your business. Yes, exactly. Food for thought. Kalpana has written, how you're looking to retain all the people that are in the main PN family group. I would pick up the phone and speak with everyone. Just message and say, the new person who joins says, you know what, this is why I'd like to maybe speak with you for 5 minutes so we get to know each other. I would do that with every person that joins. Okay. And don't try and sell anything. The first step is always to please get to know the person. Okay. Now I'm going to go back to the list. Chetan, any questions? Not sure when you joined, but do you have any questions?
Not really, Jack. I just joined recently, so I need to listen to the whole video.
Really, you really need to go back to the session and watch, because it will help you massively. Okay.
Yeah, I will, Jack. Thank you.
Okay. Dean, sir, any questions?
No questions from me, Jack. Thanks.
Thank you. Falake, any questions?
Hi, Jack. Good morning. Thank you so much for this session. I mean, I love your sessions because it always breaks those mindset barriers that we have in terms of, starting out or building our business. And I guess it kind of just follows on from, I think, the last session you did where I was worried about setting up a group and, people poach your followings and, you kind of, made me see it in a totally different way. And to be honest, I've sat down on that silly mindset for a long time, and I can now see how it has robbed me of lots of opportunities. I'm busy thinking about people poaching, whereas I'm not looking at what I'm losing from there. So that was really good, and I think this is quite a good follow-on session for that, because as you know, I'm starting out. I've now finally decided to start the group, and I think one thing you've said, which again is another worry, is I always wanted to start something, make it come out, make it perfect, and it's ready to go. I've got, this product. But again, one thing I've picked from today is it's going to take a while for you to be able to fashion out that, that value ladder. Just start, and then everything will start to make sense.
Make it perfect as you go along. Yes, there's nothing called perfect. There's nothing called perfect. I still have people in my groups, okay? I still have people in my groups, and they have objections, they have complaints, okay? I don't live up to their expectations sometimes, and that's okay. That's okay. If they are too judgmental, they would rather leave, not be a part of the group. That's absolutely fine with me. My job is to serve maximum number of people, not necessarily everyone. I can't do that as a human, okay? So your job is to focus on the ones that understand that it takes time to perfect something, and nothing ever is perfect. Nothing ever is. Business is a chaos. It will remain so irrespective of the stage you are at in your business. I mean, even if you go and speak with Elon Musk, he will tell you his business is a chaos. Okay. And if you look at even, for example, our business, small business is still a chaos, and it will remain so for the rest of our lives. Business is a chaos. You can never make anything perfect. There's always room for improvement. Okay. So start now and start to create this value ladder so you can scale it faster. Okay. Remember, your aim eventually is to bring someone to a point where they trust you enough, but they're prepared to now invest with you. And that means that, let's say if you do a project and you make, let's say 5% only, that they're happy to walk away with 2.5, and then you walk away with 2.5, and then they can see through why you made 5% and not 50%. Are you with me? Okay. And then they're still prepared to invest with you in the next project, and they're actually looking at you and seeing you almost improve every day. Okay. It's called Kaizen theory. Okay. Kaizen theory is based on continuous improvement every single day of your life. If someone gets to a point where they start to trust you, then
is written 100%.
Sorry. sorry, did you have some, Saida, were you saying something?
No.
Okay, so I was saying, you want to bring someone to a point where they can see through that you are improving every single day of your life. And then let's say if one day you do make a mistake, as long as you're learning and they can see through, they will stick around with you for the rest of their life. Raise your hand if you know what I mean, okay? And those people who leave you in the middle just because you made a mistake were never meant to be with you in the first place, okay? When you trust someone, you got to trust them fully, because every human being is just a learning and evolving human being in the journey, okay? And then you got to give them that slight bit of gap to learn and improve. And when you do that, you will scale. Remember, scaling a business has nothing to do with money or scaling. It's to do with scaling your relationship with people. Raise your hand if you know what I mean by this, please. It is scaling your relationship with people. Let's say you are selling deals, or you're in rent-to-rent space, or you're running any of this, right? Let's say you speak with a landlord and this guy gives you maybe 1 or 2 properties. You don't know how many properties he has, or you don't know how many people he's connected to and how many properties they have. Now, if this guy starts to really, really trust you, maybe now he can bring you 200 properties. You don't necessarily need to bring in more leads sometimes to generate and scale your business. All you need is scaling your relationship with the person, or you can call it the depth of the relationship with the person. Okay, that's what you got to work on. I'll go back to the list and say, Geeta, any questions? Jennifer,
no,
any
Jack,
questions?
I'm fine, thank you. Sorry, I was a little late to pick up on the button.
No worries, but are you clear on this whole ROI intertwined with back end, front end? And maybe sit down on paper and see how it can work for you. Because remember, every business is different and you got to find out how it works for you. You can do that now?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Thank you.
Yeah, Jennifer, any questions?
Yeah, Jack. I think for me, I've got some information, but it's how to coordinate it, and maybe where would I find someone if that's not exactly my strong point.
Ooh, that's a good question. That is a good question.
Because I've got loads of stuff that I can put together to upscale.
Yeah, but you don't know how to set this up.
How to, yeah.
Okay, I can see that actually, Jennifer. You know, you're good at what you do. See, I'll tell you one more thing, which I'm sharing with a lot of humility with everyone, okay? I have acquired certain skills, and these are strategic skills. So what I've just shared with you is strategy, okay? And then on top of that, having marketing and sales skills, these are all different skills, okay? Strategy skills are very different from marketing. Marketing skills are very different from sales skills. I have managed to acquire all these 3 and intertwine them with property, okay? To answer your question, you need someone with very, very good marketing and sales skills. I think you understand strategy now yourself, because I'm sharing this with you. You understand this at the core. Who you're looking for in your team is someone who's good at marketing and sales, okay? So that's the skill you're looking for. How can you find these people? They're not easy to find, I must say. Someone who's good at marketing and sales, these people can make a lot of money, okay? Irrespective of what they do. I mean, they could be selling cars, or they could be selling socks. It doesn't really matter. But because these people are good at what they do, they can make a lot of money in the field that they're in. You just have to sit down and say, who is around me is good at, someone who trusts you, okay? So then you can approach that person and say, would you like to help me set this up? Does that make sense? Okay. And then once you've set it up, Jennifer, you do need to be able to sell yourself as well. And maybe at some point, if you ask me to pitch it on behalf of you, so you can see for yourself how to do it, be my guest. I will do it for you.
Okay, thank you.
I have become, I mean, just again, with a lot of humility, just in the last 2 weeks that I've pitched people like crazy, I can assure you, I'm looking at someone's eyes and their body language and the tone, and I can tilt the scale towards me. Okay. So you got to be able to do this very, very effectively. Something you don't learn in a day. It takes quite some time, and it takes a lot of practice. Okay. Like literally, when I came back from my holidays, this was the Monday, not the last Monday, but the Monday before. I literally had, I think it was like 18 sessions booked or something like that, if I can remember correctly, on a single day. Okay. And these are half-an-hour sessions or more. And I only ended up attending half of them, and then I postponed the rest. But I kept pitching for the last 2 weeks, and I pitch all the time, but this was consistent pitching for the past 2 weeks, so I could raise money that I needed for the project. So, but the more you do, the more effective you become at this. Okay. But you can always ask me to pitch in front of you, so you can see for yourself how I do it. Sales is not a hard sales game. It's all about presenting the benefits and then just asking a person. Again, going back to the grow model, you know the drill with grow model, Jennifer, right?
Yes, yes, Jack. Thank you.
But like I said, I'm more than happy to kind of do it in front of you, so you can see for yourself how I do it. Okay.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Hi, Chetan. Any questions? Oh no, I've asked you. I think you joined late. Sorry.
Yes, I did. You did. Thank you, Jack.
Lavanya, any questions so far? I'm not sure when you joined. Lavanya,
No questions, Jack. Sorry.
Yeah, I shared initially, I'm not sure when you joined, but I shared about the return on investment and how that is connected to or correlated to your front end, back end products. Okay.
Yes, this has been shared many times in my previous sessions. So,
but not how it's connected to return on investment.
No,
okay.
We discussed the same topics, Jack. I think definitely.
I think it's not. I don't think I've covered the bit where how it's connected to ROI. I have covered the front end, back end many times, but now not how it's connected to ROI. Okay.
Okay, no problem.
But if you knew it, then my apology. Okay.
No, that's fine. No problem. Thank you.
Mohit, Lata, any questions so far?
No, it's good. Like, as you know, we are quite new to this property thing, so we are just figuring it out. So
and how it can work for you. Okay.
Yeah. So concept is clear, but we have to like see how we implement in
your context. Yes. Yes. You have to sit down on paper, start writing it down, and let's see how it works for you. Okay. But at least you're clear on the concept of it.
Yeah.
Mazi, any questions, bro?
All good, Jack. Thank you very much.
I remember you'd asked me that you would like to see yourself as the speaker in the near future. Yeah. Indeed. That is your main strategy at the core. Unless you don't have this very, very clear setup in place, you can't become a highly paid speaker. Okay.
Yeah.
That's very, very important. Okay.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Saida, any questions? I think I asked you. Suraj, any questions? You could be at work. And I have a Zoom user. Is it Esther?
Jack, I'm all right. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. I have a Zoom user. Is it Esther, John?
No, Jackie. Good morning, everyone.
Morning, Esther. Morning. You all right? Any questions?
No, it's quite clear.
Okay. Is the concept clear to everyone? Please give me a thumbs up. Okay. Good stuff. Good stuff. If you have any questions on how you can set this up for yourself, you can either ask me here, or you can ask me when you meet me or on a phone call or whatever. By all means, just reach out to me and ask me. I'm happy to see the turnaround today. I've not made that many calls today, but I'm happy to see the turnaround. But if you have any questions, by all means, you can reach out to me and ask more deeper questions. This is today's session. I'm going to stop the recording.